What's up, everyone? This is Wes. You listen to the Your Coffee podcast. We also got Joe here. Say hi, Joe.
What? We're podcasting and driving.
We're podcasting and driving. The best way to get a ticket safely, I guess. Today is September 2nd, Saturday. We are going to Midwest Dogfest, which is happening in Fargo, North Dakota. It's about a 3.5-hour drive. I at least heard about it because some of our pals are playing in the band Fend, and just kind of put the fest on our radar. We've talked about the idea of doing something on-the-ground podcasting, for lack of a better term. We're in a helicopter. We're going to Iraq. We are Brian Williams.
War journalist.
We are war journalists.
Ear Coffee.
The war is listening to bands in a brewery.
Yes.
That's the real. We're the real soldiers. Where's my Purple Heart for podcasting? But we've talked about wanting to do that, just kind of expand the format a little bit in a way that is hopefully fun for us, because we like going to see bands almost as much as we like talking to them. I would say more, actually, not to say I don't enjoy interviewing bands, but getting to see music is a little bit more enjoyable. I don't think that's too hot of a take.
No, I don't think anyone's going to cancel you over that.
I mean, they have tried.
They have.
And they have failed. Take that, haters. But this is kind of like we're going to be a little bit of a trial run. Don't really know kind of what we're doing.
Not at all.
But it's the festival essentially is a partnership with this Fargo-based charity organization called For Love of Dogs. They mostly focus on fostering out dogs that are adopted from around the Midwest, primarily the Fargo-Moorhead area, and just fundraising for medical care for these dogs, trying to find good homes for them so they can kind of be rehabilitated, be ready for adoption.
But anyway, the For the Love of Dog got together with the help of some other people to put on a punk and hardcore festival.
Some local musicians that have been kind of part of the Fargo music scene, which we've been kind of tangentially aware of. I know Joe's kind of turned me on to a lot of the heavier bands. Like the one that always comes to mind is Maul. They're a Fargo death metal band, super, super sick. But obviously there's more than just
Swing Low, who's playing at the fest, and some other cool bands.
A lot of whom we, even if we aren't able to stick around for their sets, hopefully we'll check out based on just kind of cool collection of artists. Hopefully we'll get to talk to some folks behind the festival, just kind of get an idea of what's going on. And like I was kind of saying, this is a trial run for what we may be doing more of in the future, pending just how we feel this goes.
Make up for how the fact that we don't blog anymore.
Make up for the fact that we killed the blog, which we can kind of talk about more later. This episode is also, we're going to kind of turn into a little mini reflection on 5 years. Because we've been doing this for the site and Your Coffee as an entity for 5 years, even if our 5th podcast birthday won't be until about February. But yeah, we're super excited to see where this goes, and hopefully chat with some artists, chat with Fend. We're very excited to talk to them and see their set. They're the homies, and just go from there.
Joe Keyboard here with Ear Coffee, and I'm joined by Savannah Leach of For the Love of Dog, a rescue here in Fargo, North Dakota. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Like you said, I'm Savannah. I'm the fundraising coordinator with For Love of Dog Rescue. We are a local Fargo-Moorhead rescue that we are devoted to rehoming and rehabilitating homeless dogs.
And tell me a little bit more. I was looking at the website, started in 2005,
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And from what I was reading, you guys don't really house dogs. You really work hard with fosters.
Correct. We are foster-based rescue, meaning we like to have our dogs in foster homes. This gives us a better opportunity to kind of match potential fosters with dogs, because then you can figure figure out if a dog is like good with an apartment or good with kids or cats or needs to be alone, that type of thing. We do have a shelter building. It is not open to the public, but we do have about 10 kennels there. We like to keep those open for, strays that weren't claimed, pound pulls type of thing. And then, emergency surrenders as well.
Yeah. And you work with all the dogs from all of those, like you just mentioned, like the surrenders or the pounds or stuff like that? Or how do you get a hold of the dogs that are in the foster's care?
So, like I said, we do get a lot from the local pounds. Fargo, Moorhead pounds, Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, the counties, everything are proudly no-kill shelters or no-kill pounds.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So that, and there's a handful of shelters around that help with that. We don't discriminate based on breed, age, medical status, behavioral status, anything like that. So we do actually get a lot of dogs surrenders at the eVet. So, if a dog basically is healthy enough but has some sort of severe issue that an owner can't pay for, they'll surrender to us. We'll pay for the care, rehabilitate, like I said, and then adopt out. And then we also do work with a lot of the area reservations.
Okay.
We have a SNP program. That's our Spay Neuter Impact program. And we go to the area reservations in the summer. We usually do a weekend, and we will do free spay and neuters, vaccinations, and then we also do surrenders there too. So there's lots of puppies that come from reservations, lots of shepherds, huskies, that type of thing. And then we also do network with a lot of the, the kind of smaller regional pounds too when they're overflowing. So
and so the reason we're chatting here today is the first annual Midwest Dogfest.
Correct.
So talk to me about this, because you helped put it together. You were part of the team that put this
a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, I am the fundraising coordinator. So kind of any sort of event like this, they all come to me, and then I'll help throw it together. Brady was the one who actually had the idea for this. Fargo Brewing is really great to the rescue. Yeah. They do a lot for us, and Brady, the organizer, had actually done a lot to... he reached out to me this spring about doing a concert. It kind of fell through. COVID was kind of soaring a little bit. And then I had reached out to Fargo Brewing. We usually do kind of like a pint fundraiser. And they said, you know what? This guy Brady reached out to us, but he and I were already in contact, so everything just kind of fell together.
And so if people want to get involved with helping out, whether they're listening to the podcast and they are local to the Fargo area, what can they do to really help out with For the Love of Dogs?
So we are always looking for volunteers, whether it be fostering, whether it be doing building shifts, that's hanging out with the dogs that don't have a foster, walking the dogs, doing all the fun stuff. We also do events like this. As you can see, we've got volunteers hanging out. We have a big silent auction that we do every year that's coming up in November. That's a huge fundraiser for us. All through the summer, we partner with local breweries like Fargo Brewing and do pint nights. There's tons of ways that you can help out and volunteer. We also, just have like a PayPal portal right on our website. Our website is forloveofdog.org. That's the number 4, LUV of dog.org.
Yeah, and what would you say is the biggest need For the Love of Dog has right now?
Fosters. Absolutely.
That seems to be, anytime I talk to any organization, like, we like, money's always great.
Always money, but yes, fosters.
Yeah.
We do not get any government funding at all.
Okay.
We rely on grants and fundraisers like this. Things like this are super important. Like I mentioned, we have that big silent auction. That's one of our biggest fundraisers. Giving Hearts Day, if you guys are familiar with that, that's a huge one for us. Fosters. It's the case all across the United States. It's just every rescue is just bursting at the seams right now.
Yeah, and what's the process for being a foster For the Love of Dog for people who are wondering?
Fostering is totally free. Okay. We make it as easy as possible. everything is covered. We have an application process, which is similar just to our adoption process. It's an online application, and we do reference checks, we do vet checks, we do a home visit just to make sure it's a safe environment. Yeah. But like I said, it's super easy. Like, you can live in an apartment and foster. Everything is provided. Even like, say if your foster has like a vet appointment and you can't leave work and you can't do it, we have a whole slew of other volunteers who are willing to do stuff like that.
That's
so
awesome.
We make it as easy as possible for you. You basically just have to have an open home and an open heart.
Well, Savannah, I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with me. We hope people can come on out and support For the Love of Dog in the future as you guys keep going. Can
we find you on social media, or like for Love of Dogs?
Anywhere? We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, I think, even TikTok. We're starting to blow up on TikTok a little bit. So we're all over the everything. Yeah. So.
Well, perfect. Well,
it's For Love of Dog Rescue is pretty much as long as you search that, like I said, it's the number 4 LUV of dog.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Savannah, I appreciate you taking some time to chat with us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Joe Keyboard here with Ear Coffee, and I'm joined by...
This is Wes, also from Ear Coffee, shockingly.
And we have a special guest. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Brady Dukart. I am the promoter and organizer for Midwest Dogfest. And I also play guitar in No Divinity and Poison Peace as well.
Nice.
Yeah, both those bands are playing tonight as well. Yeah.
And so talk to me about setting this up and, why you partnered with For the Love of Dog for this benefit.
Yeah, so... growing up, I've always, my parents are dog people. I was an only child, so a lot of my friends were the dogs that we kind of got through For Love of Dog. And there was a lot of instances where it was a couple times, I guess, where we would go to Petco and to get dog food, and then they'd be having an event there, and my parents would be like, well, that's a cute dog, we got to take him home. So, a lot of quick, foster fails as well. So, I feel kind of just a really personal connection to the organization, even though I don't volunteer for them or anything, but the way they've benefited me through my life just through the dogs that we've gotten through them. I've always wanted to do something to support them. And as far as bringing it with music, I obviously music is my passion with the two bands, and dogs are as well, so I kind of wanted to bring them together, and I just wanted to kind of raise awareness for the dogs in need, and then I also wanted to just host a show and bring some of the artists that we showcase some of the artists, I guess.
Yeah. And so who's playing all today? If you could, highlight.
Yeah. So
I'll see your bands.
Yeah. So I have I've had to change the lineup so many times. I think I got it memorized, but it's Peyton Skonzig, who's an acoustic artist from. I'm actually not really sure where his actual hometown is, but he's really good friends with our singer, Poison Peace's vocalist, Alex Hexum. And so I kind of, we've played a few shows with him, and he's awesome. So, so Peyton Skonzig, and then Fend, that brought you guys here, and then No Divinity, that's my hardcore band. We're going to kick off the heaviness. And then Vessels, the prog metal legends around here. And then Poison Peace, my other band's playing after that. And then... I don't actually know the order here, but I know it's going to be High Hopes, Swing Low, Rot, Zero Place. And then we have Baltic to Boardwalks playing, and then we have Cold Sweat and Dakota Faye. So we have a bunch of different genres here, from hip-hop to metal, acoustic, hardcore, pop-punk, indie rock, grunge, classic rock influences. It's a lot of stuff.
And you're from Fargo, right?
Yeah. I grew up in a small town, 20, 30 miles north of here that has no kids in it, growing up. So pretty isolated growing up, but this is the FM music scene has been, where I found my niche and where I found my people, and so kind of wanting to always grow that as well, you know. So
and what about this scene? I mean, we're from Minneapolis, so we're always looking west to see all the cool heavy bands coming out of the plains of the United States. What about this scene that has just really been a big part for you, and just kind of really growing and helping you as you grow as a person as well?
So obviously, you said, there's coming from the Great Plains, there's really not a lot to do out here except for dive into your creative endeavors. I feel if you're not an athlete, or you're not physically, you're gifted, it's either art or just being a weirdo. And when I went to my first show, I just kind of fell in love with the fact, like the way everybody just, they just acted like themselves. It was very authentic. And
do you remember who was playing that first show?
Yes, I do. If I Were in the Zoo from Bismarck, those guys, they're called Glass Houses now, or they were. I don't know if they're still a band, but If I Were in the Zoo. And the first permutation of Mall actually was the headliner.
Yo.
Yeah, it was A Day of Plague, and that was the first show. It was If I Were in the Zoo and A Day of Plague, and I actually played that show because there was the lineup was full, but one of the guitar players, Anthony Lamb, he's cousins with a guy I was in a band with in my first band, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come play one song?" And so I was working at Pizza Ranch, and my bass player called me. He's like, "Yo, do you want to come play a show right now?" And I'm like, I guess. So my boss let me leave, and then I went to my first local show, played a riff on guitars that were not in the same tuning. It was terrible.
We've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but everybody there was like impressed. They were like, you guys shredded, you guys ripped, and we're like, I knew in my head, I was like, I don't think so, but I'm glad that you think so. And just that support, just that immediate, you might not be amazing or even good at what you want to do, but I can see that you're passionate about it. I feel like people in the music scene really pick up on that energy, and I think that's what really drove me to it. It was people were accepting and just awesome.
Yeah. How did you kind of end up partnering with Fargo Brewing Company? Because obviously they have, I think the hall is the venue here. They have the stage. Yeah. I don't remember. And there was a band that I think we were talking about this on the way here, played their release show. I think it's either Mall played their release show here, so clearly they have a connection to the local scene. But yeah, just kind of talk about how that connection for today for Midwest Dogfest kind of developed, or if you've had any history here at the brewing company.
Well, I guess not really too much personal connection with the company, but I reached out to For Love of Dog initially, and I was like, hey, I want to throw this festival. I want to, throw a concert to basically raise funds for you guys. If you guys want to be involved, that's great. If you guys don't, I'm still just going to give you this money, and you'll just take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so they were like, well, where are you thinking about hosting? And I was like, well, I could probably do the aquarium. That's where I book most of my shows, and that's a little place above Dempsey's. It's downtown. It's awesome. You guys should go to a show there if you can.
Yeah.
But they said that they had tried to work with Fargo Brewing in the past, or they were trying to set up something where they have a joint beer, or they have a dog-themed beer, and then it's also a dog-based event. And so, that was immediately kind of tossed around from the get-go. And the Mall show that happened here right after COVID kind of not ended, but COVID kind of lightened up.
Yeah,
never ended, but but when it kind of lightened up and shows started coming back, we played a show here, and that was my inspiration for all of this. When Mall played that show and No Divinity played that as well, they had a little art show, record swap thing beforehand, and they had a lot more people than we did today, but we're gonna have more next year. But I was really inspired by that show and just how good the place sounded, and they've been awesome to work with, and
I know we're super stoked to see as many of the bands as we can before making the drive back tonight. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but it sounds like since you're at least hoping and potentially planning for this to maybe be at least next year, if not an annual thing, what kind of are your hopes to kind of, with keeping this going, with continuing to kind of grow and just kind of draw more folks?
I want to do bigger bands. I want to try to increase the bands not for outside the Midwest, but I would like to get some bigger bands from the Midwest, expand down to I don't know, get down to some of the bands in Michigan, or get down to Ohio even. If I got Citizen here, I would be so stoked. That's my end goal for bands. Yeah, I would love to get them here, and so that's kind of a goal. And really, the main goal for me is is helping the dogs. So I would like it, if like every year one dog got adopted at the thing, that would be great. If we were able to just give them money to help one dog get a surgery, or, just increasingly give them money so that dogs are helped around here. So
that's the ulterior motive. That's the ultimate end result. Yeah.
And also to just bring people together at the end of summer for a big show. A big thing. It would be really cool to do a outdoor event here, because they also will turn that parking lot into a big concert place too. And we could even do like one inside, one outside. There's lots of opportunity in this space alone to just grow the concert and the festival. And doing things like this as well will help get the awareness out and the word out. And so just kind of keep getting the word out that it happens. It's going to be bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah. Any more? I didn't. Okay. And so if people want to keep in touch with whatever, Midwest Dogfest is doing, or even your own bands, No Divinity and Poison Peace, where can they go check all that stuff out?
Best place and where we're most active is Instagram. There will be a Midwest Dogfest website up eventually, but we're going to be posting highlights of the event tonight throughout the year, just to kind of keep reminding people that it's a thing. And then we'll also be using that to promote just other artists as well. Yeah. And then obviously, Poison Peace and No Divinity are on Instagram as well, but I'm not here to push those. So Midwest Dogfest is the main thing. Instagram is the best way. And I would assume someday a Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook right now. So
that's okay.
It's dead, yeah.
It's true.
They'll just have it to promote their bands and watch canceled comedians stand-up clips that their weird uncle shared.
Exactly, and I get enough of weird uncles at Christmas, so I don't need it on my timeline anymore.
That's fair. Yeah. Well, Brady, if that's everything, I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with us.
Yeah, of course, anytime. Thank you guys very much. Feel free to hang out and enjoy the show, guys.
This is Wes reporting from Fargo, North Dakota with Ear Coffee. Joe did the radio intro, so I felt pressured to do the same, even though I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm sitting here with Fend, just played their second show ever. Very excited about that. Congratulations. It was a stellar show. Very excited to be here for it.
Thank you.
It's so cold here.
It's freezing. We're so cold. Love to start with just some introductions. Name, role in the band. Y'all know the drill, because all of you have been on this show twice.
Exactly.
I realized, and that's wild.
It's a three-peat.
My name is Joe Villano. I play the guitar and I sing in Fend.
My name is Kate Melanify. I play the bass and I also sing a little bit in Fend.
My name is John O'Brien and I play the guitar in the band called Fend.
My name is Abe the Babe Anderson and I play drums in the band Fend.
That's true. Those are all factual statements. Appreciate the truth here. Not any InfoWars kind of stuff.
No, hell no.
So this is a kind of super group, if you will, one of several, most of which are somehow involving Abe. You just keep showing up in these.
He plays drums.
This year, if I'm not mistaken, but we can go kind of quick through this. But just let's do a little origin story. How did the four of you connect? And obviously a lot of collaboration in the scene. Y'all playing some of the same bands already, so it makes sense that y'all are all homies. But how did Fend come to grace our ears?
Well, I was playing in Kate's project.
The Project Kate Melanify.
And
Kate Melanify.
Yeah, the Kate Melanify Experience, a.k.a. Kate Melanify and the Green Bean Boys. And Kate and I have always kind of been talking a little bit about maybe we should start our own band and have our own music where we play and write and play the songs as a band.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
There we go.
Yeah, so we were doing that, and then we were jamming maybe a couple times on those songs, and then I was recording my album with Abe, and then Joe came to do guitar, and then we talked about having Abe join the band, and then we jammed one of those days. Yeah. Yes.
And then John O'Brien has been in every band I've ever been in.
Well,
so.
let me. Okay, so Joe and I.
Permanent +1.
Joe and I play in a band called Early Eyes. Well, that's a different story. So Joe and I play in a band called Early Eyes, and they asked me one day, like, "Hey, I noticed like." We play in the same band. I always wanted to like say what's up to you. I always see you like in the hallway. Do you want to join this band called Fend? And I said, yeah, but only if it could stand for fuck everything and die. Oh no, fuck everything, never die. I forgot one of the operative words.
Like,
and
die.
No, it can be fuck everything and die or fuck everything, never die. But yeah, whatever. It's a free country.
Number 2 right now.
Hell yeah, exactly.
It's a loaded choice of phrase.
Exactly,
number 2,
I'm feeling that.
We're going. Yeah. Kind of touched on this already, but what was kind of the writing process for these songs? Because they've only been debuted now twice, yesterday and today. It's September 1st and 2nd as of recording. Beyond just kind of like the jamming, slowly growing the group to have a full, at least for now, full lineup.
Well, the band started with a co-write between me and Kate called Team Up, which we played tonight and last night. And that's going to be on our debut EP that's being produced and mixed by Abe and John. Abe recorded it.
I'm mixing it, and then Abe will master it.
We have actually only practiced like 3 times as a band. So we haven't really had a chance to like write all together yet, but Kate writes songs and I write songs and we bring them to the band.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes, we have yet to learn a Kate song, but they're coming.
They're coming in hot. All right.
Exactly. And I initially was not in this band, but I was recruited to mix the record, and then through the process of mixing it, I kind of knew how the songs went already, and then Joe said, "Hey, you might as well just be in this band." Yeah. So.
John played one riff on the recording process, and then we were like, "You have to join."
It was the last
the
riff,
one riff test.
The last riff on the song Domino.
Yeah.
And it's the thing. It's like if you give a mouse a cookie, if you give me a riff,
Fenn's just crazy like that.
Yeah. The rest is history. It's a historic band.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
I want it. This is my band.
The ambition is too strong. So last night, September 1st, was the band's first show. Played at the Garage with friends of the pod, Oftener. I don't actually know how to say it, but it's Kinsey's group. Nefele. It's Kinsey. I know that much. And Hot Bagels.
Yes.
How did that show go? I saw some clips. Seemed fun.
It was a fantastic night of revelry, artistry, and explosive, dynamic musical energy.
That was a really good description.
Can I say that? I just wanted to say, holy shit, that was a good description.
Both mics.
I was just saying, like, it was like the sound person's first time doing sound, and then Hot Bagel's first gig as well. So it was like a very much a first gig.
That's great.
And it was on the 1st of the month, and it was very fresh energy.
It was my birthday.
What?
No, it wasn't my birthday. That shit was not my. It was not my birthday.
You totally could have gaslit me that so easily.
It was
like,
not.
What?
Yes.
I would have DM'd you and wished you a happy birthday.
Yep. Nah. See, it's super easy to lie to people, and that's what we're about at Fend.
This is being recorded, so now, John, you're on record as being a liar. How does that feel to be in the eyes of God like that?
Shit, it doesn't feel good. I was lying. It feels great.
And how's today been? You drove the 3.5 hours to Fargo, just ripped a set, got a lot more bands
Let
playing.
the record show I drove 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Kate for just bringing the most delectable spread of snacks.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I made PB&Js, a bunch of them, and then there was apples and also hummus and baby carrot and some pretzels, Dots pretzels.
Were the apples full apples or
full
apples? Okay. I had an apple today too.
Here. I like them sliced, but I think that would have been a little too much work. I would have been late to get to John picking me up.
Yeah.
And then, what else? Oh, yeah, there was Tostitos, too.
Ooh. A very delectable spread, yes.
We made a quick stop off at the Caves of Wonder.
Yeah.
And we retrieved the crown of the 9 hells from Garzel Gwab, the Goblin King.
Yeah, and then we took a quick pit stop to Blighttown and fought a friend of the pod, Chaos Witch Quaylak.
I'm not sure which From Software game these are from.
Yeah, sorry. Listen, actually, can you edit that out? We can't cut that. We can't talk about.
These guys are gamers, Joe. Can we get that on record?
Seriously,
nobody needs to know that Fend is full of gamers.
We've been hiding it very well.
So, obviously, all of y'all play in other projects, have for quite some time. That's how Joe and I have become familiar with your musical works. How's Fend compared to those? Just kind of different sound, I would definitely say, having heard some songs, but just different group of people, different combination of creative inputs, a lot of great brains put together.
Yeah, it's so fun. I think it's like some of these songs are low-key like an iteration of my old band, Marie Finch, which John was also in.
I played drums in that.
That's true.
But Abe is better at playing drums than me.
It's like, and Marie Finch was also on this podcast.
Yeah, Joe and Jack.
Yeah, no shade to Jack, obviously.
No shade to Jack.
But
Shout
I
out
feel
Jack
like
Daly.
this is like the sequel to that band, and I'm super happy with how it's going. It's so rad. I love all my bandmates. They're really good at music and playing it.
Yeah, that's true. How did y'all get connected with Midwest Dogfest? It's a pretty cool little thing they got going on here. We're very excited to have everybody here. But
Brady messaged me and asked if I wanted to play, and this is the only band I had that could play, so we played it.
How'd you know Brady? Was it like a cold DM?
We have met before because I've played Fargo many times with multiple bands. So just like an old friend. They just
an old mutual.
Yeah,
cool.
An old acquaintance, from the dusty old trail of Fargo.
The Oregon Trail, if you will. Yeah. So we already kind of touched on this. Got an EP in the works, but beyond that, what does kind of the future look like for the
album,
the Fendiverse?
Another EP. We got another one because only half of the songs that we played tonight will be on that first EP, which I'm probably gonna finish mixing tomorrow. Press time tomorrow, and then we got to make the next one, and then after that, we might make another one. We don't have any other shows on the books, so that's what I got.
Hey, if you're in a Minneapolis band and you are interested in our band, let's play a show together. Hey, hit our line.
Hey,
DM us.
Hey,
any platform.
Believe in yourself.
Thank you. That's all we got. Keeping it pretty quick here. I know there's some other bands that maybe we want to be catching. It's got a lot more to go. Anyone you're excited to see tonight in particular?
Fend.
Where can people find you?
Gmail.com.
Beyond Gmail, where can the folks find you to keep up on the future of Fend?
We are at Fend the Band on Instagram and Twitter, and there you can find all of our information and cool posts.
All right.
And we got our group chat on iMessage.
You can request to join. Well, thank you for all four of you for chatting.
You're welcome.
That was great.
Thanks,
Appreciate y'all.
For $5 a month, you can get a special extra episode on the Ear Coffee podcast or the Patreon podcast for $5 a month on Patreon for Ear Coffee.
We used to just host the unedited episodes on SoundCloud, but one of them just took up our entire free account.
Yeah.
We just had to delete it so I could record Kermit the Frog impressions. That's not a joke.
So yeah, no, it was a good time to be out at Fargo Brewing for Midwest Dogfest. We chatted with Savannah, who is the donation services coordinator, the person who's in charge of making sure they can continue
fundraising and stuff like that.
Continue to pay for all of the things they do. We talked to Brady through like a serendipitous moment, who played in 2 of the bands that performed.
Kind of handled like all the booking.
Yep,
I think.
He was the one who put the gig together, and then essentially was like, "Hey, either you can be involved, or we'll just give you money after the fact. Either way, we want to make sure you can continue to do what you do in the Fargo
organization,
in the Fargo Moorhead area."
Yeah, and of course, the main kind of reason why we wanted to head out, and as I was saying, the reason that I even heard about, and Joe and I heard about Midwest Dogfest in the first place, is newly minted Minneapolis supergroup Fend, featuring Joe and John from Early Eyes, Kate Melanophy from Kate Melanophy and Keep for Cheap, and then Abe Anderson, the GOAT, if you will, literal composer of the King of the Hill theme song.
It's true.
He wrote that. That's true.
He did write that.
And they played their first show yesterday, September 1st, at the Garage with a friend of the pod, oftener, Kinsey Nefele. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and Hot Bagels or Holy Bagels. They played their first show yesterday, the first at the Garage, and they played their second show today. It was a great set. Super glad we could catch them. More for time reasons and the fact that it's a 3.5-hour drive from Minneapolis to Fargo, and I fucking work tomorrow. I did not get to stay as long as we would have liked.
That's true.
To see bands like Swing Low, Rot was one that I'm particularly bummed about missing. I know Joe kind of turned me on to them. They're a really cool local hardcore band. But it was great to chat with Fend, kind of catch up with them. It's a very goofy time, which is I do enjoy that. When we can goof a little bit as a member of the Goof Troop. That's my day job.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of what we were hoping to do. Again, a little bit of a trial run for the future. It sounds like, as you heard from our interview with Brady, this is hopefully going to be a recurring thing. So maybe we'll be there next year, hopefully.
It continues to grow, and more people can come and again support a really cool local charity. And we hope to start doing more of the stuff at more than just Midwest Dogfest.
This is definitely not going to be only a Midwest Dogfest themed special episode that we do yearly, which would be a great bit that nobody would like.
No, but it'd still be fun. We hope to go out and about and go to more fests and do more on the man on the street kind of interviews where we
them on the street.
They them, I should say. Person on the street interviews.
A genderless void on the street.
And so this was just like the perfect trial run. It was low stakes and just a good time.
Yeah, fun little road trip we got to do here.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts about how America's fucked. And that's kind of the vibe, you know. Fuck America.
Just
keep that on record. But just more because we don't really have enough to say or don't really want to make a whole separate thing out of it.
Yeah.
We're kind of smashing two things together here.
And we got like 2 hours left in our drive, so why not wax poetic about...
As the sun goes down, the sun sets in the west, or whatever the fuck direction it sets in.
On the
on the west?
On the corn here in western Minnesota.
Yeah, shout out corn.
We recently celebrated as a entity, not a podcast, because podcast, like Wes mentioned earlier in the show, will be... I believe either on Valentine's Day or like the day after Valentine's Day. Yeah. Either way, I edited that first episode very drunk.
And we've both been there, much to the disappointment of all of our listeners and fans. Alcohol has fueled a lot of your coffee.
That's true. It's not coffee, it's alcohol. Just kidding. And a lot of coffee.
It is mostly coffee.
A boffy, if you will.
You can't do that to me when you thought beer coffee was dumb. You can't just say boffy. That sounds like a fucking guy from Star Wars.
Did you see that TikTok?
No, maybe. I don't go on TikTok, Joe.
That's fair.
I get notifications that somebody sends me a thing. It's probably usually Claire, and then I never open it. And then like 15 days later, I just watch like 9 TikToks in a row. I'm like, that was enough.
That's valid. But yeah, so we celebrated our 5th anniversary on August 18th.
Yes,
with a
Thursday,
show. Yeah. At the Treasury with 4 really cool bands. The Prathloons, which John of Fend, as you just heard of, is in that band as well, and Early Eyes, obviously. We had Okay Nice, the the rapper who's been on the show. We had Careful Gaze, and we had Blue Driver, who are all fantastic local acts. It was a really great show, and a really great show to have with people, and not just like, all right, so like 10 people can be here, and everyone, like we had to.
Because it's technically our third show ever.
Yep.
That we've put on. The first one wasn't really. It was a little bit later in the year. I think it was.
No, it was
close to the time.
It was in a
week. It was a little bit later. It wasn't like, and it wasn't intended to be like I think that would have been our third birthday.
Yeah.
As Your Coffee. That was an interesting show. Shout out Row House 1, not 2. But then last year we did a similar show. COVID has not left. It is still very much a thing.
Yes.
But it was a little bit more prevalent. I guess we wanted to take extra precautions the first time, beyond just masks being required. So, I mean, thank you to the Treasury for being probably the only venue.
The show happened
one of the only venues still kind of enforcing that. So appreciate that for them.
The Row House show happened 4 days after our birthday in 2019.
Okay. Well, closer than I remembered, but still, it was more like a show we were sponsoring along with some other folks. We had a good time, I'd like to say.
And then our second official birthday show, it was technically our fourth birthday.
First official birthday show.
We
held at Highwant House. Shout out to Aaron, George, and Sage for letting us do that.
Yep, they were very
gracious.
To open their home in the middle of a pandemic,
and even like a more scary wave of it.
Yes,
and so that was a little bit more to navigate there, but we appreciate everyone who came to that as well and who was willing to bear with us. Thank you to Ev, to Juana Bianca, to
Sock Hop Massacre
for playing that show. I think it was just those three.
Just three.
If I'm forgetting a fourth one, sorry. But year 5 felt
great.
It felt great
to be with people.
With people in an actual space. Thank you to all the folks at the Treasury, to Nadi and Maud for kind of booking the show, and everybody else who was working that night and helped make the show happen. I don't know if they're going to hear this. Hopefully we remember to thank them. We thanked them then. We're not fucking assholes, I'd like to think. But regardless, just endless gratitude to them for helping us make that happen, and grateful endless gratitude to the band and everyone who came. We're kind of in an interesting place after 5 years. As I'm sure nobody's actually noticed, really, except for people that email us asking us to blog about them who have never looked at the site before in their goddamn lives and don't know what's going on, and aren't even local. So fucking leave us alone, you fuckers. Just kidding, you're all PR people or just trying to do your job. So, I mean, please leave us alone, but also, you're fine. The blog doesn't really exist anymore. That was what we started it with. The podcast didn't come until a little bit later, but the blogs, we reserve the right to bring it back. We haven't fully old yellered it, as I like to say.
Yeah.
But
for the time being, it doesn't seem like it's going to be something
for a while
that it's going to be written about. It's going to be written, or things are not going to be posted to it, just because the people who have the ability to churn out words about things on paper, and by paper I mean web space.
Blogspot.
Blogspot.gov.
We are the government.
It's just not in what we want to do right now. It's more, it seems
like
more
writing. I mean, at least for me, I don't want to speak for you, but like, just the idea of writing, like, just drives me up a wall. And even if it's a band that I like, I'm like, I just can't find the words or the time to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how we made it happen when we were also incredibly busy back when I was still in school and you were still working and having an incredibly busy schedule with that, and just
magic and a
literal depression.
A foolish nature that this was a good idea. It was a good idea, but I don't
regret that. And I'm really, again, grateful to any of the bands that ever really reached out to us, that submitted their albums or their songs for us to write about. The main thing that is kind of a bummer is that, like, it's harder, like, to not harder to find bands, I guess. I shouldn't say that, because there are still so many incredible artists that we haven't had on the show that are still just starting or really just kind of hitting their stride. So it's not like the Minneapolis music scene has gotten any less incredible and, like, very jam-packed. But we can't make as much time. It takes more time to set up a podcast episode, to prep for an interview, to do all these things, than it is to just write a couple paragraphs about like an EP or a new song and just give them a little bit of space and attention that way. So it's like, it is a bummer that we don't really have that venue, that avenue for covering bands and kind of trying to do what we, at least once we really started focusing on local music, like wanted to do with Ear Coffee, which was kind of just help lift up and draw a spotlight to the artists and bands we think are cool here in the scene,
because there's
here in the cities.
There's like such a gap between like where the current starts and like Radio K leaves off,
and even like before Radio K, not to act like we're like freaking like the arbiters of truth and we're breaking bands and like, oh, they don't get on Radio K until they got an Ear Coffee review. Like, we've never been at that point. We've never acted, I hope, the perception that we're trying to be like that, because
we are not tastemakers in any sense of the word. We just,
but we joke that like, oh, we're influencers. Like, that's not that's not the mindset. I think it's more like about the mindset where it's like, we're just doing this because, I mean, we really like music and we like a lot of bands that other people don't talk about, and want to just kind of do what little we can, and that's kind of always been the MO since the get-go, even when we were blogging about fucking Grizzly Bear instead of like DIY bands that only play basements. Even if they aren't always going to be DIY bands we end up in, which is shout out.
We finally mentioned it on the podcast. It was right here, right now.
And we were actually about to enter Brandon, Minnesota.
I was gonna
no comment.
So, and like, again, and honestly, I don't know, the thing I love about an audio medium, as I am a radio professional, is you can, like, when talking all of the things we probably would have written in an article, you can literally hear the tone of our voice and the inflections and the excitement that they have when talking about it, that you don't get by ripping a pull quote from like some fucking email,
like the EPK or like,
or
not
like
even as an EPK, because most of the bands that reach out to us don't know what an EPK is, or if they haven't made their own, because it takes work to do that.
It's a lot of work.
Pain in the ass.
It is, and when you just be like, "Yo, here's my EP. Here's who we are." Like, you might like it. And so, like, even if you do like a pull quote, or even like send an email for like an actual quote to pull for like an article, depending on what we're writing about. It doesn't hit the same in my IMHO, in my honest opinion. And so being able to chat with them and listen and like spend that time talking about it, I think is more fun, in my opinion.
In addition to that, this is more so on Joe's side of the Ear Coffee duality, the Ear Coffee gender binary, if you will, is we've been doing live sessions for
over a year
now.
I think that
because we did our first one summer of 2021.
August.
No, was it 2020?
It was 2020.
Okay, so almost 2 years then.
Yes, we hit our 2-year anniversary for live sessions. Come on.
Joe's just checking the calendar there real quick, but it's been about 2 years. That's pretty much their baby. Like, I definitely, like, I'm not going to, like, act like we don't mutually decide which bands we want to have on, but all the recording, all the filming, all the editing.
It was posted August 21st, 2020.
Okay,
was
August 21st. Wow.
I totally forgot about posting about it.
With Natalie Fiddler.
Who was basically the reason we started it, because she was like, hey, I want to do something with Ear Coffee since we can't actually play anything. And I was like, we could do a live stream. And then the Minneapolis police did what the Minneapolis police likes to do.
And then we were like, let's not do a live stream in the middle of this. And
so then
recorded it.
In the interim, bought a camera, bought some equipment, and now my basement is
basically
a studio.
As a studio / potential future venue. Stay tuned on that regard. We're not trying to get too ahead of ourselves. But Joe basically makes all that happen. And so that is, obviously something we're super excited to do. I don't want to say it's like replaced the blog, because it's a totally new venture,
facet,
new facet of Ear Coffee. Even if it makes sending emails, like, we're a multimedia production duo, makes me want to unalive, and because that sounds so stupid. But also, like, we're not just podcasters, we're not bloggers anymore. It's like, what do we? We're just two people doing stuff. But that's kind of been a new kind of facet that's evolved to kind of scratch a new itch and kind of help just kind of keep pursuing the same kind of end goal of just helping people find their new favorite band and just helping local bands that may go underappreciated by the higher up tastemakers that would actually maybe call themselves tastemakers and gatekeepers,
or even that kid who's just Googling punk music and is just oh, what is this, being that future wealth of knowledge and stuff to be because part of the reason why I wanted to do this was I was the person who liked listening to interviews with bands, honestly even more than listening to their music sometimes. And I was well, we can do that. Let's do that. Let's be that future spring of knowledge, essentially.
And also just kind of documenting these bands that maybe wouldn't maybe are only around for a little while, only maybe don't really and I hope this doesn't inform why bands make music, because I think it's any band that makes music and puts an album out there, puts a song or EP out there is that's enough. That is so cool. That's amazing. That is all you need to do. And it sucks that there's so many other things that just kind of make it impossible to go further than that.
Yeah.
And what little role we can play in kind of documenting these bands and having just outside of just the Minneapolis tag on Bandcamp or something. Which is, again, fantastic, and how we've definitely found a lot of bands over the years. But I don't know. Well, I feel like we're in an okay spot after 5 years of this.
Yeah, it's definitely not something we want to stop doing.
At the very least, I want to... my new running joke is we have to keep Ear Coffee alive until Henry Kissinger dies. Because if Ear Coffee dies before fucking Henry Kissinger dies, literally the Forrest Gump of war crimes, then I can't accept that.
The moment Henry Kissinger dies, it's just a notes app post on Twitter. We're done now.
Henry kicked the bucket. Fuck that old bitch. We're done.
But
that's just a joke. But at the very least, if the frickin' goop and apparatus that keeps him frickin' fed and full of nutrition doesn't get some orderly doesn't trip on it and unplug him by accident, oopsie. We're gonna keep going for a million more years. We're gonna keep going until the heat death of the universe.
And I don't know what the future holds. As Wes mentioned, we kind of over the last 5 years, we've definitely grown and changed and kind of tweaked and
doing that,
using the ability of evergreen content through media. Essentially, we love making hashtag content.
We are content creators.
So who knows if we're making NFTs in the future or whatever.
We will be actually logging on to TikTok soon and just doing a little comedy videos and top 10 Midwest emo album rankings.
We'll become a content farming house or whatever.
The Murder House is the local DIY hype house. You move in, we haze you for 6 months.
And you
then
pay
you
us
get to,
thousands of dollars of your anything you make, and just man, we're giving you viewers and subscribers and followers.
We're giving you an audience. We're putting eyeballs in front of your screen. I don't. Yeah. That makes me so sad to even think about.
Did you expect Ear Coffee to be here when we started? On my dining room table in 2018, 2017?
Given how many times we've had panic attacks and thought about burning it all down, no. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm happy that we have, but it's ebbed and flowed.
That's true.
We don't have to get too into it because everything does. When you're not doing great, nothing feels good, including blogging and podcasting. But when you're doing okay, then it's a lot more fun, and it's brought so many wonderful folks into our lives, so much wonderful music that there's really nothing we'd rather do as a hobby, Mom. But cool. I guess we're kind of hitting the end here. You've already listened to us ramble for way too long.
And there's a state trooper up there.
Hey, maybe we actually are. You're going to hear us get pulled over and shot.
Table will continue to roll as that happens.
Anyways, slowing down a little bit. But yeah, we're just so grateful for anyone that has ever listened to the podcast, checked out the live session, read the blog, submitted their music to us. Come to any of the shows we put on. We're hopefully going to keep going with that for hopefully just, at least yearly for birthdays.
yearly, depending on what the living situation is and what happens to Murder House. For sure, you might be able to go to a quote-unquote Ear Coffee show at some point. I'm not going to put anything in stone.
Yeah,
but we're just going to tease that now.
It's a hopeful
future
thing we're working on that Joe and their partner Abby definitely made the space really cool, and we're just kind of figuring out logistics.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hopefully we'll keep moving, keep growing, keep doing our thing, keep finding cool new bands and cool old bands that have, like... You already heard this during the Fend interview, but it was just wild to me. Like, I didn't realize this until we were just doing some last-minute prep in the brewery and just kind of getting ready for the band to show up and play their set, that all 4 of the band members, with only a little bit of overlap, have been on the show 2 times each.
Oh.
Because...
Yeah.
You've interviewed John with Prathloons. I interviewed John and Joe with Early Eyes. I interviewed Joe and Jack Daly for Marie Finch Fox Theory, that split they did, which is still so underrated. Talked to Kate twice with their solo project and Keep for Cheap. Then, actually, I think I talked to Abe 3 times.
You interviewed
over
Abe
the years, because I've interviewed Abe a couple times
some
with
previous
their solo, with
previous
their solo
project.
music.
Yeah.
So that
projects.
4th time for Abe.
That's
probably not
wild.
the last for any of them. Which is again, thanks to those 4 for putting up with us for this long and continuing to be willing to chat with us. But that's kind of where we're at. 10 more years, 50 more years, a million more years. We're only in it for the money. Woo!
Speaking of money, you can buy T-shirts.
We're going to have T-shirts for the T-shirts that we
currently that's going to just
selling at our show are going to go somewhere online.
Yeah, you can.
We haven't decided where as of recording.
You can DM us for sure as of right now, and we'll
just
send you a T-shirt.
Bring them to your house or something.
Yeah.
In like the most non-creepy way possible.
Oh,
some podcasters show up at your house to throw a shirt at you. It could be you. It could be soon.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to make a joke about breaking and entering and leaving it.
I mean, if you want us
under
to,
the cover of darkness,
we could. I love that Stroke song. We could totally break into your house if you really want us to. But like, we're not going to automatically do that. We're just podcasters. We're not hardened criminals.
Not yet. Not until the fascists make podcasting illegal.
Not until we are essential workers, Joe.
We are essential workers.
Fuck you, Tim Walls. Give me my pandemic, my frontline worker benefits. I'm 1 week short, bitch.
That motherfucker.
Come on.
God, the motherfucker isn't paying radio people, even though I worked the entire pandemic because we weren't essential, even though we were literally carrying his speeches every day.
Yep. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's just us being bitter at the state of the world.
But again, vote blue no matter who for Ear Coffee.
Dark Brandon forever. He's real and he's spectacular and he's in your house. Thank you for supporting Ear Coffee. Thank you, everyone. We love you so much.
Except for you. I know who you are.
Yeah, except for there are some of you that can get fucked. But like 99% of you are all wonderful souls and we're so grateful for any support you've ever given us.
You've probably listened more to this podcast than my partner has, and I appreciate it.
Or me. I listened to 4 episodes ever, and that was for school. If you work in radio, you have to hate your own voice, but you also have to get used to doing it and just listening to it. But
true.
Hopefully our voices aren't too insufferable to anyone that's just listening to us. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.